I would like us to go through some of the specific proposals that RFK has laid out, and maybe you can apply that lens that you've just described to some of them. The first one I wanted to talk about was fluoride, because that's something that has come up multiple times on in RFK's public statements. He writes here that on January 20th, the Trump White House will advise all U.S. water systems to remove fluoride from public water. Fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease. President real Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump want to make America healthy again. And he links to a recent lawsuit that we also pulled up here. This was a lawsuit filed against the EPA. And what the plaintiffs in the lawsuit were saying is that the EPA needs to look at the fluoride issue and they need to issue a regulation of some kind. It's kind of open-ended what that regulation could be. But what the court found is that the fluoridation of water at 0.7 milligrams per liter, which is the level presently considered optimal in the United States, poses an unreasonable risk of reduced IQ in children. It should be noted that this finding does not conclude with certainty that fluoridated water is injurious to public health. Rather, as required by the Toxic Substances Control Act, I think that's what that stands for, the court finds there is an unreasonable risk of such injury, a risk sufficient to require the EPA to engage with a regulatory response. So in other words, the judge is saying, yes, the EPA does. I'm not saying that fluoride is dangerous and making the kids dumber, but it's possible, and the EPA needs to do something about this. What's your reaction to all of the fluoride discourse?
Well, I drank too much fluoride as a child, so I'm not able to cross it.
Same here.
Okay. So, I mean, one point, when RFK Jr. says it does all those things, yeah, if you have an overdose of fluoride, it will do bad things to you. Also, if you drink too much water, it'll do bad things to you, too. You can get hyponatremia if you drink too much water. Okay, so that's one point to make there. The next point to make is, I think you really highlighted it nicely. That is the way an environmental law proceeding would judge fluoride. They're not saying for sure it's a risk at that level. They're just saying it possibly has a risk for that. Okay, my view on the issue. I've looked at a lot of the IQ studies and fluoride. I'm not persuaded that fluoride at the doses we are exposed to it actually does reduce IQ in children. I could be persuaded by that in future studies. The studies that are done to date, I think, have a lot of problems with the studies. I'm happy to get into that, but I just said there's a lot of problems with that, making that strong claim. The next point to make, I think, is let's talk about the other side of the ledger. The other side of the ledger is what does fluoride do for cavities? And fluoride has some reduction in cavities and caries in children who are exposed to fluoride when their pregnant mothers drink fluorinated water. I think there are a number of studies that show that benefit of fluoride when we started putting fluoride in the waters in the 1920s and 30s and 40s was really big. But as time has gone on and we have better dental hygiene, better fluoride in our toothpaste, as we're doing a better job of brushing our teeth, the rate of cavities in countries that add fluoride to the water and countries that don't has fallen markedly in both sets of countries. So putting it all together, I guess I'd say that there's a reason why Europe is divided on this issue. And even America is. Portland doesn't put fluoride in the water, for instance. And the reason is, is the benefit on cavities so valuable that we should expose everybody to this, many of whom are not going to drive much benefit or drive a small benefit, if anything at all. And I think different countries come to different conclusions. Germany does not put fluoride in the water. Personally, for me, it's not a hill to die on either way. I actually think I'm annoyed when I hear people say, he's such a kook, he wants to take fluoride out of the water. Well, a lot of countries don't have fluoride in the water, and Portland doesn't have fluoride in the water. I also am annoyed when people that fluoride does all these horrible things. Well, probably not at the doses you're exposed to. It's probably something in between. And let's see what happens. If he actually puts that advisory, we all know what's going to happen. The Trump administration says, don't put fluoride in your water. Well, every red state, red district, they're going to take that fluoride right out of the water. And that's
already happening in Florida, by the way, where I am. One town has taken it out, and the Surgeon General of the state has already said we're taking it out. But I assume you're going to say California is going to double the dosage.
Correct. We'll add a little bit more. We'll add a little more in California just to show them. And parents who are in Florida who want to have their kid have a little more fluoride will probably find a way to supplement with different
Yeah,
types
I'm
of
not
ways.
that worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. So that's my overall view of it. Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
fluoride, it's an interesting issue because I think it speaks to, some people just don't want people putting anything in their tap water. That's the kind of gut feeling some people have.
I mean, I think that's somewhat defensible, right? This idea of like, don't dose me against my will, especially if you're the government. Like, don't make the decision for me or for my kids.
Hey, that was a clip from Just Asking Questions. You can watch another one here or the full episode here. And please subscribe to our brand new channel to get us started off right and be notified when new episodes or clips go up. Thanks for watching.